beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Now, wonderful Randy, thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you to Venkat for helping create this remarkable network of millions of people who are out there doing what needs to be done in life, which is to create more happiness, more joy, more wealth in the world. So I applaud you. Now, how can I make the categorical statement that I said, welcome to all you good-looking people? Because if you tuned in specifically to learn about how to turn stress into success, it means that you're always looking for and finding the good in life. That's a definition of a good-looking person, looking for and finding the good in life. So we're going to go deep into good because you're going to end up knowing how to be happier, healthier, and wealthier, and learn how to turn stress into your success. So Randy, let's go to our first slide so we can share with everybody. And that slide reads, as you see, the title of my newest book. My latest book this year, 3 published this year, and another one coming out early next year, is entitled Oh Shift. And you'll notice where the F is, because I learned this 42 years ago from a man, amazing man named Jim Rohn, who was the mentor and the teacher of Tony Robbins. Everybody's heard of Tony Robbins. So when I started working with people 42 years ago, I'm telling you, over the decades, 97.2% of people drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. So let's take a look at the great acronym for O Shift. O Shift stands for openly happy. Shift, something happening inside, facilitating transformation. So one of the things I'm going to ask everybody to do today is to allow yourself to be transformed. Yes, there'll be great information. Yes, it'll be inspirational. But really what you're here for is the T word, transformational. So I'm going to ask everybody to do something that is really tough for everybody. Ready? Do not take notes. Did Barry Shore say, don't take notes? Please, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you. You'll be much better served if you don't take any notes. You want to jot down 1 or 2 little points because you might want to ask a question later. That's great. Do not take notes. Please let your ears listen. Let your being facilitate this transformational experience. Again, I learned this from Tony Robbins 40 years ago. When he taught a small group of us, there were 5 of us, he said, this is experience. The first time you have something, just listen, let it feel it. The second time, that's why we're recording this, it's not for the people who didn't show up. It's for you, so you can listen the second time. The second time you want to take notes, that's great. And then listen the third time, because then you'll internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life. So remember, openly happy, something happening inside, facilitating transformations. Please do not take notes. Let's go, Randy. Next slide. Here we go. Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. Don't write this down. Don't worry. They're all going to be there. You can hear the recording. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do. Now, everybody knows this intellectually, especially us. When I say us, it means business owners. And I don't care if you run a business that you're a solopreneur or you have 100 employees. It doesn't matter. It's all about what it is in your mind. Your mindset makes all the difference in the world. And I'm going to share with you the 3 fundamentals of life. And they are, number 1, your life has purpose. You lead a purpose-driven life. Number 2 happens, you go mad. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. And number 3 is to unlock the power in the sequence of everyday words and terms, like we just talked about. Oh, shift, something happening inside, facilitating transformation. So before we go to the next slide, I'm going to ask everybody to do the following. I want you to think of the word stress, and I want you to imagine a picture that reflects what you think stress is. Think about it. Stress. Think of the picture. And now, Randy, let's see the next slide, please. Ah! I dare say that very few of you thought of stress in this way. Am I correct? You don't have to answer because you know that's true. You don't tend to think of stress as this beautiful garden and you're walking through, the sun is shining and it's everything and the birds are chirping and life is wonderful and harmonious. That's not usually how people think of stress. They usually think of it as the next slide. Randy? That's how people tend to think of stress. But again, we're going to shift your idea of stress because let's learn it the Barry Shore way. What does stress stand for? Stress is a wonderful acronym that stands for stomach turning reality, enabling self sabotage. Ah! Do you know what happened? You might lose the business. You might lose your house. Your cousin committed suicide. The kids are going crazy. The country's falling apart. The world's at war. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There's so much going on. That's how people tend to think about stress, either internalizing it or showing it on their face and in their body and everything they do. And it's true. It can overwhelm the being. Remember, we're going to use this to our advantage to learn how to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. So let's now look at the Barry Shore way of understanding stress with our next slide. Yes, this is the Barry Shore way of understanding stress. What? How do you know that? Well, let's look at the acronym for stress. Stomach turning reality. You're right. You may lose your business. You may lose the house. The kids are going crazy. Your cousin did commit suicide. The country's falling apart. The world is at war. Stomach turning reality, enabling self-success. Self-success? How is that possible? 6 most important words you'll ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life. And they are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine not only the direction of your life, but the trajectory. Stomach turning reality, no matter what's going on. And it could be tough. There's no doubt about it. Enabling self-success. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. So let's advance to the next slide, Randy, and let's see what we can do with this new understanding of life. This is my latest book. It's coming out in the first quarter of 2024. It is entitled Reframing, the Art of Living. My co-author, Nathaniel Wyckoff. And this is a collection of approximately 11 remarkable human beings who are in reality not remarkable at all. They are you and me, everyday people. We all, okay, Barry, sure, you're not an everyday person. You're rich and you're famous and you're handsome. Yes, I've also gone through stuff, which you'll read about in the book. But I'm going to mention to you just 2 people because I think they're emblematic of what really life is about from every person's point of view. You'll see in the middle of these pictures up here, a fellow with a cowboy hat on. So you may not even know his face. You may not even know his name. His name is Frank Shankwitz, a dearly beloved friend. He just departed this earth about 1.5 years ago. Remarkable being. Why? Because he used a life experience to turn around the world because of something unique that happened for him in life, and it was devastating. He went about and created the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Is that turning stuff into greatness? That's the ultimate in stress. Stomach turning reality. He was on the verge of death. And he met a 7-year-old boy who was on the verge of death and who did die. But that boy had a wish. And Frank was able to make it come true. And guess what? Make it come true, not just for him, but for hundreds of thousands of kids around the world. Make-A-Wish Foundation touches millions of people. And you'll see a picture of a beautiful woman up there. Her name is Rachel McCord, a friend of mine. Grew up in a trailer park. At an early age, she and her sisters made a decision that it's not that they wanted to leave the trailer park, that's of course, but they wanted to get rid of the trailer park from the very being because they wanted to be in the world in a mode, what I call a cog, a channel of goodness. They reframed their lives to be able to have the art of living. And I'll give you an example, and then we'll go to a couple more. First one is, as I mentioned about Frank Shankwitz, things happened for him. He didn't say, well, what's going on here? Why did this happen to me? What am I going to do with it? What is happening for you in life, not to you? That's the first step in reframing. Not, wow, what is going on here? Why is this happening to me? The question is able to ask, why is this happening for me. When you do that, you're beginning to do reframing. Now let's go to something that you see every single day. Randy, let's show them the next slide. Talk about reframing. This is the unique distinction between two very important words. Now, of course, because of Star Wars, people say, well, may the force be with you. And it's a nice idea and such like that. I want to share with you the idea of this picture, which is a fulcrum and a lever. It was first proposed by a fellow named Archimedes, 2,300 years ago. Well, you can look it up, Archimedes. And he said, give me a lever and a fulcrum, and I'll move the world. Because it's the distinction between power and force. You know, when you try to force things in your life upon other people and upon yourself even, well, that force doesn't create benefit. Matter of fact, that's what creates heart attack, stress. What we're looking at is unleashing the power within. And yes, Barry Shore is quoting Tony Robbins, who thank God I've known for more than 4 decades. You want to unleash the power within, because power enables you to become that channel of goodness. One of the things that we know about life, especially, and about learning, especially, again, please do not take notes. Just let it flow around you and through you and in you, is that play. Play is the best way to learn something. When it's fun and you're playing, it's great. Play stands for possibilities looking at you. That's what power is. When you know you have the power to make a difference in the world because you have decided to choose how to respond to any given situation, that ability to choose will really make a difference in your life. So learn the difference between power and force using a lever and a fulcrum. The next one is something that's really fun. And again, we're playing, we're having a lot of fun. You're going to learn something. This is something that you see every single day. Next slide, please, Randy. And it is, hello. This is called the stop sign. I mean, how many people don't encounter this on a regular basis, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times in a day? And when you're in the automobile, matter of fact, sometimes even when you're walking, you come to a stop sign, you might even stop. So why do you stop? Because look at it. It's a octagon. It's red. It has those powerful letters, S-T-O-P. So you stop because that's what you've been trained to do. And it's great, but we're going to do reframing. Reframing says stop is going to translate for you from now forward the following. Successful transformation opens power. Remember, this session with you and me together, this is not about, how should we say it, information only. Or inspiration. Yeah, Barry, sure, that's great. But you know what happens, inspiration goes away in an hour, 2 or 3 or 5 days. Doesn't matter. It's about the T word, transformation. When you see a stop sign, from now, the rest of your life, you want these words to reverberate within you, and you can share with others. Successful transformation opens power. When you recognize that you have the power to make a difference in your life, and by definition, the life of many people, because that's the genius of business. As my father taught me at the age of 9, he said, Barry, how do you spell business? I said, Dad, B-U-S-I-N-E-S-S. He said, yeah, that's right. Notice that the U comes before the I. When you are out there taking care of all the people you call customers, acquaintances, people that you're doing things for, and you serve the you, your I gets taken care of. It has to. It's a law of the universe. Stop. Successful transformation opens power. And now the next slide, wonderful Randy. Again, we're still in the idea of reframing. And what do we see here? For those of you who do not have your speakers on, you're probably saying, oh my gosh, what's he talking about? And those of you who do hear, I want you to look at this and read what it says from the way you're looking at it. Yes, it looks like it's reading something that we don't like. And yet, when you use reframing, watch this. God is now here. God is now here. That's the genius of reframing. When we can look at things like a stop sign, and we can look at things like this. God is now here. You can internalize, utilize, and leverage that in your life. Everything will change. You will be happier, healthier, and wealthier. I guarantee it. Or your money back. Okay, Randy, next slide, please. People always asking, Barry, I need practical things I can do right now. Well, we talked about some. One is learn the great way of understanding stress from the Barry Shore point of view. Stomach turning reality, enabling self-success. Reframing, stop. Successful transformation opens power. And now let's take a look at 3 things that we can do practically every day. Let's go back to blab. The first one is blab. Blab, what does that stand for, Barry? Breathe like a baby. Breathe like a baby. Yes, it's so wonderful. I mean, I love science, as we all do. The scientific facts give us the ability to literally internalize and use emotion to make it real. Breathe like a baby. How do babies breathe? Well, it's not like we adults breathe. Most adults, almost all day long, breathe very shallow into your lungs and out, which is fine because otherwise you're not going to be alive, right? I have a technique that was handed down to me from my teacher, amazing woman, and it was something that has a tradition going back 3,380 years, and it's about the ability to breathe like a baby. It means breathing in through your nose, deep into your diaphragm, and then out. Now, most people, 99% people, can't spell diaphragm. You don't know where it is. So I call it tummy breathing. Breathe in through your nose, deep into your tummy, and out through your mouth. And you do this 4 times. 4 conscious, loving breaths. That's what we call them. 4 conscious, loving breaths. It takes about 94 seconds. And I have a link that I can send to you, and you can learn how to do this. When you learn how to do this twice per day, once before noon, once afternoon, and now you're learning how to breathe like a baby, you will be able to mitigate, reduce, maybe even eliminate negative stress in your life. You want some positive stress, we'll talk about that later, but you can eliminate it by learning how to breathe like a baby. Next practical thing we can do, Randy, and that is to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. And what are these 2 words? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. The Dalai Lama is quoted as saying, I read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. As he says, with a twinkle in his eye and smile in his face, it's always possible. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. What I'd urge everybody to do is to make a promise to yourself, because it's good for you, your family, your friends, and all living beings. It will make you happier, healthier, and wealthier for the next 30 days at the minimum. And I'd like you to continue the rest of your life. For the next 30 days, consciously and conscientiously say thank you to another human being. Meeting eyeball to eyeball with a smile on your face. Again, we say thank you on a regular basis throughout the day because we've been trained that way, but we now want to bring consciousness into it. When you do things consciously and conscientiously, you affect not only your physiological system, you affect your psychological system, you affect your spiritual system, and now you become a cog, a channel of goodness. When you do that, you reduce, mitigate, and almost eliminate negative stress in your life. So again, blab and thank you. And here's the 3rd practical tip that you can use immediately, and that is learn to love dog poop. Did Barry Shore say dog poop? Yes, learn to love dog poop. So let's take a look at it. Everybody knows what dog poop is, right? You don't like it. It's there. Whenever you take a walk, especially these days and such, we're going to learn what dog poop is because it's one of the greatest acronyms you can ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life. Because dog poop stands for, next slide, please, Randy. Doing of good. That's what a dog is. And next slide. Power of one person. Doing of good. Power of one person. Who hasn't heard of Nelson Mandela, of Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King? Wow, Barry, why are you bringing those people up? That's not me. Those are amazing giants in the world. They are. They became. So are you. You have the same exact power as any person that you can imagine that you consider to be great. You don't need that same amount of money. You don't need to be tested in the same way. You have the power, and the definition of it is, I can prove it to you because you are created by the good Lord. You are the same capable person as anybody that you can imagine. And when you begin to internalize, utilize, and leverage that in your life, you now transform yourself and recognize you have power, not force, power of one person. So imagine you're walking along the street with a friend and you see somebody and they're picking up dog poop. You start laughing. Your friend says, what's that? He says, I love dog poop. What are you talking about? Well, I heard Barry Shore speaking about what do you mean? What is it? Dog poop stands for doing of good, power of one person. Imagine yourself reaching out to your right and to your left to another friend. And those two people reaching out to two more. So 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32, 64, 128, et cetera, et cetera. Together we create a tsunami of goodness always. That's a toga, a tsunami of goodness. And it all begins with you. See, this whole presentation has nothing to do with Barry Shore, nice guy that he is, or Randy, or Venkat. It's all about you. You being the best you, because when you're the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. Joy is a fabulous acronym that stands for Journey of You. So I urge you, blab. Say thank you consciously and conscientiously 3 times a day for now, at least the next 30 days. And I'd like you to continue the rest of your life and learn to love dog poop, doing of good. You have the power to make a difference in the world. And that's how we'll finish up at our final slide here for the moment. And that is, I urge everybody, go mad. What? Go make a difference. You can do it. Everything depends upon you, your mindset, your physical, mental, and spiritual outlook. When you do that and you align your thoughts in good, your words in good, your deeds in good, then the stresses that really could upset, they get reduced, mitigated, maybe even eliminated. Those are the negatives. You want that gone. And that's how you do it. Practical tips, reframing, the art of living. Stop! Successful transformation opens power. You have the power to make a difference because you're mad and you want to be with a big smile on your face, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. So my blessing, our blessing from Randy and Venkat and Barry is go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Thank you. And we look forward to hearing some questions and bringing benefit to the world.